What's going on, guys? My name is Lubcubs, and welcome back to part 2 of how I created Gaming with Jen's Candyland map. In the first part, we went over the creation process of the actual land itself, and in these next two parts, we're going to be going over the commands. I should note that this is going to be a very fast-paced tutorial. I have recorded this about 10 months ago, and this is just me voicing over everything that I did in that process. So if at any point I'm going too fast for you guys, just pause the video and take a look at the commands that are happening at that time. So we're going to start off in the first pink cotton candy kind of area, and I'm actually going around and starting to spawn armor stands that are invisible, are markers, invulnerable, and have the tag sheep. And we're going to spawn these everywhere that we want the actual sheep to be placed in this candy area. I'm going to make sure that there is 25 of them. So I'm just flying around here, placing all these armor stands. Once they've actually been placed, I'm going to kill all sheep that are in the world that I was doing during my testing process. Now, at these sheets, we're actually going to summon a cotton candy sheep from the candy mod. And we're going to give this sheep a tag candy. And it's going to be invulnerable so they can't accidentally kill it. And it's going to be persistence required so that way it doesn't despawn. And now this is what the sheep look like. I did notice the command block output there, so we're actually going to adjust a couple game rules, send command feedback to true, just so we know what we're doing, and command block output to false, so that way we don't get that command block spam in chat. So again, I had mentioned we were doing some testing, and I wanted to see if the entity data sheared 1B works for these cotton candy mobs, and it does. That's perfect. We can shear these mobs using commands. So I'm going to actually do a repeating command block here, and we're just going to execute at any player, well, at all, and we're going to apply the entity data to any sheep, essentially. Right now we have it for anything that's not a player within a 2-block radius of us. So when we walk up to this sheep here, the sheep gets sheared. That's exactly what we want, but we want this to be a little bit more detailed than that, right? So what we're actually going to do is apply a scoreboard tag to that sheep right here. So any candy mod cotton candy sheep, we're going to apply a scoreboard tag called sheared. So we're just adding sheared to that tag. If at any point you guys need to pause the video to look at commands, by all means, definitely do that. I'm definitely not going to be like saying word for word what these commands are. So yeah, pause the video if you need to. I should note that we're actually only applying the tag sheared to any of the sheep that have already been sheared. That's what that sheared 1B was in the brackets at the end. Now we're going to get another command block, and we're going to execute at any of the sheep that have the tag candy. And we're going to execute at that same sheep, but this time we're going to also see if they have the tag sheared. So when a player walks close to them, they'll get the tag sheared, and that's the sheep that we're targeting. So that's how we differentiate between which sheep. I want to do a particle effect, and we're using cloud for this example. And we're going to have a particle effect of cloud happen every time they shear the sheep. The next thing I want to make sure we do is actually play the sound effect for shearing. So we do play sound, entity, sheep, and then shear, just like that. And we're going to make this execute as master, and instead of the coordinates, I'm actually going to change that to be local to where the player is, and then it doesn't really matter because we have volume set to 1000 anyways. But we're going to replace that particle cloud now with that, and yep, that's spamming. So we're going to quickly actually remove the tag candy from the sheep. So I just grabbed another command block with that same command, remove the last little bit, and we're going to do a scoreboard players tag at S, so it's executing at the sheared sheep, and we're removing candy, the tag candy, from that sheep. Now that should be that working, so we can actually walk up to one of these sheeps and it shears just like that. And now that's really cool, but I want to make sure that they actually get something when they shear the sheep. So we're just going to make a copy of that top command block, lift it up, because we need to make sure that scoreboard is being removed at the very end. Now we're going to edit the second to last command, and we're actually going to give the player, after they sheared a sheep, and I got to figure out the tag here, so it's a candy mod cotton candy grass block. So we're going to go back into the command, give at p candy mod, and then cotton candy grass block. And we're just going to do one cotton candy grass block of type 0. And then we do the display name cotton candy fluff. You can just copy that right there for whatever display names you want to do. Now when we walk up to the shape, we get cotton candy fluff in our inventory. Now of course I want to make sure this works with shears. So I'm actually going to start a command block that's actually removing the tag shears from the player, and then we're going to do another command block that's adding the tag holding shears if they have the shears selected in their hand. So you'll notice here I'm just testing it, and it does in fact work. Now it's actually really simple. I'm going to copy this tag holding shears, and I can come right into the command where I say execute at all, the very first command, and just put it right there. Now just to do a quick test, I am going to kill off all of these sheep. And we're going to spawn them back in. Probably pick up a few pieces of meat here and there, but when I shear the sheep holding the shears, it makes the shear sound and the particle effect, and everything seems to work. Now we can make this look a little bit more detailed by removing the shears from the player's hand and then instantly giving it right back to them. And this is how we do that. So I'm actually going to just quickly clone this pile of command blocks in case I make a mistake, just so I have a backup. I'm going to move it a few blocks over, and there we go. Now I'm going to take the top command here and move it up 2 blocks, just like that, and we're going to punch out those middle 2 now. And we'll place another command block here, and we're going to execute at the candy sheep, execute at sheared once again, and we're clearing the shears out. And we're going to add one final command block here, and we're going to remove that last clear at p shears, and we're going to do a replace, where is it here? Replace item entity at p slot.weapon main hand Minecraft shears. So it's basically replacing the main hand with shears. So it's going to look like the shears have actually been used. So if we find a sheep here, I can walk right up to this thing, and you can kind of see a little animation there with the shears, and it just happens on the like one tick after another tick. Your eyes can't really see it happening, but it's clearing the shears and replacing the shears at the exact same moment. So now we need a little character to introduce the actual challenge. So I'm going to use custom NPCs, and we're going to try to edit the model to find something cute that we could use for this. So I think meme in a bottle might have a few things we could use. Here we go. No, I don't think so. Illuminati was probably a close second. The paperclip guy and the hot dog guy, but the frog definitely was the one to go with. So we got our model. We're going to change the name to just frog. They don't even see the name ever, but that's just for my own benefit. Update the size a little bit and make it so that it's actually stalking the player. In other words, it's always looking at the player. And now when we close out of this, you'll see this frog turns its head to us, and we can start with the commands. So we're actually going to add the command or the tag admin to us, so that way I can make these commands without interfering with the map. So we're going to test for at all players that don't have the tag admin on them, and I just added a space there, so I got to backspace that. And we're going to do a radius of 5 around the frog. So I do need to get the location for that frog. So I'm going to go place a block down right here. Just do a set block command quickly just to grab the coordinates. And then we're going to come down into the command and do x equals 68, y equals 21, and z equals 105. So now within a 5 block radius of that block, we'll execute this command. So I'll take a comparator output off of that, and we're going to head over to this tellraw JSON website for the text. So I'm first going to make the frog's name green, because that just kind of makes sense to me. And we're going to call this guy Candy Frog. And then we're going to come and make some kind of text for him to say. So I'm thinking something like, hello there. And then we're going to have, you look like you're in a bit of trouble. I hear you need probably some kind of train parts. And then we're going to say, if you can bring back 25 cotton candy fluff, he'd be willing to trade us that part for the fluff. So we're going to copy that, head back into Minecraft, where we can just paste that into the command block, and that will instantly work, which is beautiful. Now we're actually going to set an air block on that comparator when it fires, so it doesn't keep firing multiple times. Now I'm actually going to grab myself a dynamo from a mod in the mod pack, and we're going to rename it Train Dynamo and set up our trades with this mob. Going to the Advanced tab, changing it to a trader. Sometimes this bugs out with custom NPCs. You just have to close it and redo it. And we can do 25, I believe, of these cotton candies for this dynamo. So if I just kind of separate these, and we're going to do 25 cotton candy fluff for one dynamo. And of course we have to give them shears as well. And that is pretty much the entire pink area done and dusted. I do want to do one final message. Just take these shears so that way they know where to get the shears. And then of course the frog has a little hello Lubcubs message, so we just delete that just like that. Okay, that was fast, sorry guys. And then we're going to do one more command, and we're going to do a test for at all, and we're testing the player's inventory to see if they have this train dynamo. So I'm just trying to grab the command for it, I guess. ID, yeah, here we go. So this is immersive engineering, and it's a metal device 1. So it's very basic, but we can just test for the player to have that on their body. There you go, it found Lubcubs, so I gotta make sure I set that to not admin after, right now. There we go. Tag is equal to not admin. And that's closed off, perfect. So once that's in place, I'm actually just gonna come back to this command block area and grab this command block holding control, and we're gonna trade or change the text that he says here to thank you and good luck on your adventure. And that's that. Next, we're actually going to copy the command for spawning the sheep in and place it on basically when they meet the frog the very first time. So once they meet the frog, all the sheep will spawn in to ensure the map works properly. And then I'm just going to close that up, clean everything up here. We killed all the cotton candy sheep that are in the area. Now the last thing to do is to clone those other command blocks down beneath out of our testing area. And we can just break these guys, and that is pretty much it for our cotton candy area. It's time to move on to the next area of the map. And here is Candy Cane Land. So I didn't know what to do, but I pictured a bunch of candy canes kind of running around the area, so that's what I started with. So I opened up the resource pack folder, and I navigated to basically where I store my spare block models. So I go to models, block, and I often change carpet models because they are the least risky to modify because you get less glitches happening when you work with them. I make a new copy with the carpet green, and I actually am going to drag this over into Blockbench where we can start working on our candy cane model. So this is just a basic spear. We're going to delete all that. I do need to find myself another texture, so I'm going to grab the white texture from this folder. Just drag this down a little bit, and we're going to drag the white texture into there, and now we have the colors we need for our candy cane. So we're just going to start with quickly designing ourselves red and white candy cane, nothing too special, and that's going to be tall enough there. We're going to start the arch a little bit over. And that's our candy cane shape. Now I need to edit the display properties for that to sit on the player, or what we're going to use, a custom NPC. So it looks like it's actually running around. Now this wasn't quite big enough, so I had to scale this up here in my standard model. And now we are looking pretty good. Back in the Minecraft world, we reload the resource pack, and I go and grab myself a green carpets, and we stick that. Yep, there it is. There's our green carpets, looking wonderful. And we're actually going to place that on our NPC's head. So we open up the inventory, and we place the candy cane on the NPC's head, removing the chat as well. and making the NPC invisible, the name invisible, and we are going to make them wander around the area with no pauses, no interaction, and that's it. Now we have a cotton candy that is sliding around the world. Alright, not bad. Let's see if we can make it look better. So I experimented with adding some arms and legs. Not gonna lie, this looked pretty hideous. It looked pretty scary. I didn't know what I was doing with my life. So I said, okay, maybe I drop the legs. And it did look a little bit better. I was okay with that. So we kind of stick with the arms. I did modify them a tiny bit more. And there they are. Alright, not bad. But this was not good enough. I knew I wanted some eyes on this bad boy. So I come into Photoshop here. And we start making some eyes. Now this is actually a very easy build. Easy design, I mean. We just start with some ellipses. And yeah, I don't really need to explain much. Just watch the video. That's it. We're going to bring that picture over into Blockbench, make ourselves a square here, apply the texture, and then I just line it up until I think I can get something that looks half decent. I do want both eyes actually touching the candy, I think. So I actually make two rectangles separate and just clone them. So it's that simple. Looking good, looking good. So we save that, we head back into Minecraft, reload the resource pack, and yes, this thing looks adorable. Perfect. This is exactly what we need for our candy cane children running around the area. I'm going to clone a bunch of these up, and we're just going to go and spawn a whole bunch of these around the area. I think I do 12 total. Now we build a little playpen area for them to, you know, hang out in. Got to make that look nice and festive. Not festive, but like candy cane-like. And then I fill some basic candy cane blocks on the ground just to make it super obvious where they had to place the children. Once that's done, I get a location to kind of test where these candy canes are going to be. And we're actually going to test for at entity name is equal to candy cane. Now the capitalization is very important. So you see here I double check. I did use capital C's. So we go back into my command and we capitalize candy and cane. Now we have to make sure we're testing them in this exact location. So x equals -70, y equals 21, and z equals 187. And then we do a radius of 5. No, we do a radius of 4. Sure. Change that up, Lucas. Now I'm just doing a quick test here. I do 5 redstone dust and a lamp. So in theory, by the time I spawn 5 of these candy canes in, that redstone lamp should turn on. So we got 3, 4, and 5. The redstone lamp turns on. So that's perfect. Now I gotta get rid of these guys. This is tedious. I can't. It's really difficult to click on these, and you often just start spawning new ones in. Yeah, wasn't my best work. I was definitely very frustrated doing this. All right, now I come underground. I move my little testing area underground, and I have 12 redstone dust set up for when we actually start doing the commands for this. I do have to set up a entry kind of challenge, introduce the challenge. So we do a mother candy cane, and she's basically saying, I saw your train breakdown. She will give us a stack for the train, like a smokestack, if we can give her her 12 children back. I think that's what it is. The stack might be clogged. And if you can help me gather my 12 children into this pen, she would give us a new one. That's exactly it. So we copy that command. And we do that same setup we did over at the cotton candy forest. So we just punch out the ground a little bit, start ourselves a new command block, comparator, and that's where we're going to paste our message from Mother Candy Cane. We test for the location once again, so 59, 21, 177, and we're just testing for the player that does not have the tag admin. If I remember to do that, I'm not sure. Yeah, there it is. Tag is equal to not admin. X equals negative 59, Y equals 21, Z equals 177. And then we do a radius of 4 blocks, because I can't make up my mind. Make sure that command block is always active, and then make sure you do a set block air command once again to make sure that doesn't repeat itself. Once that is done, our challenge is set up and ready to go, but I do turn these sideways so I can actually set up a scoreboard objective. So I do a scoreboard objective, and I'm going to create a new one, and we're going to add children collected, but this is actually too long of a scoreboard objective, and it has to be typed dummy. Yeah, there it is. That's too long of objective, so we're just going to change that children collected to children found. Just like that. And now when they meet Mama Candy Cane very first time, they're going to set the scoreboard for children found, but we do have to set up the sidebar display. And what the command block is going to say is scoreboard players set total children found 0. So now if I just execute that command quickly, I'm going to copy that and paste that. That's what Jen and Andy will see. Now we're going to head back underground and we're going to set this up. So we're doing an add to children found every single time this redstone line activates. So I just have to fill in this command block as an impulse command for every single one of the 12 children. Right there. And then we're going to fill a line of repeaters in, and I didn't even show that. So I'm going to pause that. So what I do here is I do a row of repeaters for every single one of the redstone outputs, and then put a block under each and every one, and we're going to do a set block air, so that way when the command actually fires, it will set up an air block there so it can't be fired multiple times, which I will demonstrate here in a minute. So this is just me placing the set block air command on all of those blocks. And now we can actually go and test this out by spawning in ourselves a candy cane, and you'll see the children count went up by 1. And if I try to pick up this candy cane and pull it out and then put it back in, it does not put the children count up by 1 again. And you'll see why, because if I drop back down below here, that block is missing. Yeah, that is how this one works. Now I just need to take an output off the 12th child. We're going to take the same speech command from Mama Candy Cane from before, and we're going to say something along the lines of, thank you so much, take the smokestack, and we're going to do a resetting total, so that way the scoreboard objective will go away, and we're going to give @p the smokestack, which is basically immersive engineering device 1 with the display name train smoke stack. Beautiful. And that is our candy cane area fully complete. I really like how that turned out. And that is where we're ending today's video, guys. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video. I know it may have seemed overwhelming at times. If you ever did get overwhelmed and you're using this to help you make your own maps, then please just pause the video in those areas that you felt I was going too fast in. It's really hard for me to go back to a map that I made 10 months ago and remember every single step that I did during it. Also realize I didn't record every single step I did doing it, and trying to explain that to you without having the actual footage to show you me making the map. So I do hope that this does help you guys in some way, shape, or form, and I really hope you guys will stay tuned for the next part where I go over the chocolate bar area and then the starting builds for the house, the spawn area, and the commands for the Jen kind of introducing the map for everybody. But yeah, that's where we're ending today's video, guys. If you guys liked the video, please don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also, leave a comment down below letting me know what you guys think of the channel, what you guys think of this series, and other things like that. But guys, most importantly, don't forget to have a lovely day. Bye, guys.